They all turned to look at me, the whole family. Watching. Waiting for my reaction. The conference room was full of applause and fake tears. My Uncle Preston dabbing his eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. My cousin Sloane already texting, probably to her financial advisor. The lawyer cleared his throat, adjusted his glasses, read from the document. To Preston Callahan, I leave the textile company and $5 million. To Sloane Callahan, I leave the vacation properties in Aspen and Maui, plus $3 million. To Brenda Callahan, I leave the art collection and $2 million. Each name, each fortune, each congratulation. Then silence. And to Ivy Callahan. Everyone leaned forward. I held my breath. I leave my fountain pen. Laughter, real laughter, not polite chuckles. My Aunt Brenda actually gasped, whispered loud enough for me to hear. How fitting. The help gets a pen. Sloane smirked. Uncle Preston shook his head, like I'd disappointed him somehow. They thought it was a joke, a final insult from beyond the grave. The lawyer handed me a small velvet box. Inside, a simple black fountain pen. My name is Ivy Callahan. I'm 27 years old, and I just got humiliated in front of my entire family. My grandfather's estate was worth over $50 million. 7 properties across 3 states, 3 companies, investment portfolios, art collections, vintage cars. The house where I'd been living, the one I'd cared for, cleaned, maintained for 3 years, was gifted to Sloane, my cousin, who hadn't visited Grandpa in 4 years, who sent generic birthday cards and forgot Christmas entirely. She looked me straight in the eye as the lawyer read her portion. The main estate, including all furnishings and grounds, to Sloane Callahan. She smiled, sweet, victorious. After the reading, she approached me in the hallway. I guess you'll have to start packing. I'm moving in next month, maybe sooner. I stood there, holding that velvet box. Grandpa wanted you to have the house, and he wanted you to have a pen. Funny how that works. She walked away, heels clicking on marble floors. I looked down at the box. The pen felt heavier than it should. After the reading, I needed air. Walked out to the garden behind the law office. I could hear them through the open window, talking about me. Uncle Preston's voice. She was always a bit ungrateful, never understood business. Aunt Brenda, she thought being a nursemaid counted as work. Anyone can change bedpans. Sloane, I mean, she helped around the house. That's not exactly running a company. Someone laughed. At least he gave her something, more than she deserved. I stood behind the garden wall, barely breathing, every word carving deeper. 3 years. I'd given up my job as a graphic designer, my apartment in the city, my social life, my 20s, all to care for the man who'd raised me after my parents died, who'd taught me to read, to think, to question everything. He'd promised me, when the time comes, I'll make sure you're taken care of. I didn't cry. Instead, I took out the pen, clicked it open, and everything changed. The pen caught when I clicked it, not broken, just stuck. I twisted the barrel, felt something shift inside, unscrewed the top section carefully. A tiny scroll of paper fell into my palm, rolled tight, yellowed slightly. I unrolled it with shaking fingers. Grandpa's handwriting, unmistakable. Start where the story ended, first drawer, backward. I read it 3 times, memorized it, put it back inside the pen. My heart was racing. Start where the story ended, Grandpa's study, his desk, the place where he'd spent his final months, too weak to walk but sharp as ever mentally. First drawer, the bottom drawer. The one he'd always kept locked. The one he'd told me never to touch. That drawer is where bad ideas go to die, he used to joke. I'd never seen inside. Backward. I didn't know what that meant yet, but I was going to find out. I drove back to the estate, my former home, that evening. Sloane hadn't changed the locks yet. Probably assumed I'd just leave quietly. The house was empty. Dark. Everyone had gone to celebrate at some expensive restaurant. I went straight to Grandpa's study. The mahogany desk sat in the corner, exactly as he'd left it. The bottom drawer had a small keyhole, old-fashioned, intricate. I tried the pen tip, too thick. Then I noticed something. The pen's clip, removable. I twisted it. It came off. Underneath, a tiny key. My hands shook as I inserted it into the lock. It clicked open. Inside the drawer, an envelope, thick, sealed with red wax. My name written across it in Grandpa's handwriting. And beneath it, a USB drive. I grabbed both, shoved them in my bag, heard a car in the driveway. I locked the drawer, pocketed the pen, left through the back door. Whoever came home wouldn't know I'd been there. I opened the USB drive on my laptop in my tiny apartment, the one I'd rented after moving out of the estate. One folder, one file. Titled Trust1.mp4. I clicked it. The screen showed Grandpa sitting in his study, months ago based on how he looked. Thin but alert. "Ivy," he said, looking directly at the camera. "If you're watching this, it means they got what they wanted." He smiled, that knowing smile. "But I promise you, so will you, just not yet." He leaned forward. "That pen wasn't empty, neither is your future. They think I was a fool in my final months, senile, easy to manipulate." His eyes hardened. "I wasn't. I saw everything, and I documented it all. Keep looking, sweetheart. The truth is hidden, but it's there." The video ended. I sat in darkness, staring at the blank screen. He'd planned this, all of it. The envelope contained a single piece of paper. A routing number, an account number, and a key. P.O. Box 847, Downtown Branch. I called the bank listed on the routing number, asked about the account. "I'll need to verify your identity," the woman said. I provided everything: name, social security number, the account number. "This account is sealed under a secondary trust. Private access only." "What's the balance?" Typing sounds. Then, $47.82. My stomach dropped. "That's it?" "Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else?" I hung up. $47? After all that, I looked at the key. Heavy, brass, ornate. This wasn't about the bank account, it was about the P.O. box. The post office was closing when I arrived. I ran to box 847, used the key. Inside, another envelope and a business card for a different bank. Wells Fargo. Downtown, safety deposit box access. The envelope had instructions, a number, a secondary password, my birthday, not the day I was born. The day Grandpa officially adopted me after my mom, his daughter, died. August 14th, 0814. I drove to the bank, showed them the key and the paperwork. The clerk led me to a private room, brought out a long metal box, left me alone. Inside the box, a leather journal, well-worn, filled with Grandpa's handwriting. The first page made my breath catch. "They took the bait, you hold the map." I spent the entire night reading that journal, every page, every entry. Grandpa had documented everything. Every bribe my uncle had paid to fake company earnings. Every shell account my aunt had opened in the Cayman Islands. Every property deal Sloan had manipulated using insider information. 3 years of careful documentation. Dates, names, amounts, bank statements, screenshots. He'd let them think he was losing his mind. Let them feel safe, confident, greedy, and he'd recorded every single move. One entry, dated 6 months before he died. "They think I don't notice Preston taking money from the textile accounts, or Brenda selling pieces from the art collection and pocketing the cash, or Sloan convincing me to sign documents I supposedly approved but never read. They underestimate a dying man's clarity. Let them. The truth will surface, through Ivy." Tears streamed down my face. He'd known. All along. I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of footsteps. Someone was in my apartment. I stayed frozen in bed, listening. My bedroom door creaked, opened slightly. Footsteps, careful, quiet. Then they stopped, left. In the morning I checked everything. My laptop had been moved, just slightly. Screen angled differently. My desk drawer was open a crack. I'd closed it the night before. But the journal? Still hidden under my mattress where I'd put it. They were looking, searching for something. They knew the pen was more than a meaningless gift. But they didn't know what I'd found. Not yet. One page in the journal had codes, numbers, letters, I didn't understand. GC8472, KY047, NB3301, CH189. Multiple entries like this. I texted my college friend Zara. She worked in international finance. She called me at midnight. "Ivy, where did you get these codes?" "My grandfather's journal." "Why?" "These are offshore account identifiers. If they're real, we're talking about serious money, hidden money. How much?" "I can't tell without accessing them. But the structure, this is high-level asset protection." "Who was your grandfather?" "Someone who knew exactly what he was doing." I realized the pattern. The codes weren't random, they were based on my adoption date, August 14th, 0814. I reversed it, applied it to the first code, got a password, logged into a secure banking portal using the information from the journal. A screen loaded, account summary, balance, $12,847,000. I stared at the number, blinked, read it again, $12 million. Then I found another document, buried in encrypted files, a will, the real will, dated 6 months before Grandpa died. In it, I was the primary beneficiary of everything. The will read at the lawyer's office? A forgery. I needed proof, legal proof. I remembered Grandpa's former assistant, Nora. She'd worked for him for 20 years before retiring. I called her, explained what I'd found. She was silent for a long time. I need to tell you something, she finally said. Before your grandfather died, his lawyer asked me to destroy a file, a digital copy of his will, the real one. My heart stopped. Did you? I told them I did, but I didn't. I kept a backup, on a flash drive, just in case. Why? Because your grandfather told me to. 2 days before they asked me to delete it, he said, when they come for the truth, you'll know what to do. We agreed to meet. Nora handed me the flash drive in a coffee shop. Her hands shook. I could lose everything for this. You're saving everything, I said. I opened it on my laptop right there. Multiple versions of the will. All tracked, dated, time-stamped. The original version, I inherited everything. The version read in court, I got a pen. Everyone else got millions, and the metadata showed exactly when the file had been altered. 3 days after Grandpa died. By Uncle Preston's personal assistant, using Uncle Preston's login credentials. They'd changed it, forged his signature, filed the fake version. This is fraud, Nora whispered. This is proof, I said. 2 weeks later, an invitation arrived, heavy cardstock, gold lettering. You are cordially invited to celebrate the Callahan estate legacy. Black tie. They were throwing a party, at the estate, celebrating their inheritance. Sloan had added a handwritten note. Hope you can make it. We'd love to see you. Dripping with fake kindness. I RSVP'd yes, and I started planning. I contacted Nora, asked if she'd come to the party, bring her evidence. She hesitated. This will destroy them. They destroyed Grandpa's wishes. She agreed. The night of the party, I arrived in a simple black dress. No jewelry, no pretense. Everyone was there. Champagne flowing, laughter, music. Uncle Preston gave a speech. To my father, who built this legacy, and to family who will carry it forward. Applause. Then I asked for the microphone. Sloan laughed. What are you doing? I'd like to read something, I said. Before dessert. Uncle Preston looked annoyed but handed it over. I pulled out the real will. The printed copy Nora had given me. To Ivy Callahan, I leave full rights to the Callahan estate, including all properties, companies, and assets. The room went silent. Because she was the only one who stayed. Uncle Preston jumped up. That's fake. She forged it. Did I? I pulled out my phone, projected the metadata onto the screen behind me. This is the original will, filed 6 months before Grandpa died, the one you had altered 3 days after his funeral. Gasps, whispers. Aunt Brenda stood. You're delusional. You can't prove. Nora stepped forward. Actually, she can. I have the digital trail, the original files, everything. She connected her laptop, showed the versions, the timestamps, the login credentials. Uncle Preston's assistant was there, face pale. Tell them, I said to her. She started crying. I was told to change it. Preston paid me $50,000. I didn't want to, but... That's enough, Uncle Preston snapped. But it wasn't. It was just beginning. They denied everything, threatened to sue me, called me ungrateful, a liar. Until the assistant spoke on camera. I'd brought a journalist friend. She filmed everything. I was paid to alter the files, the assistant said, voice shaking. I have the bank transfer, the emails, everything. The party ended. People left. Whispers following them out. My family stayed. Furious. This won't hold up in court, Uncle Preston said. Want to bet? You're destroying this family. You destroyed Grandpa's legacy. I'm just correcting the record. Sloan threw her champagne glass. It shattered against the wall. I didn't flinch. What they didn't know, the family had signed NDAs years ago, part of a settlement, to cover up tax fraud, real estate money laundering, securities violations. I found the documents in Grandpa's journal. They'd all signed, agreed to silence. Except me. I was never included in the settlement, never asked to sign, because I was just the caregiver, which meant I could talk, freely, loudly. I contacted the IRS, the SEC, the district attorney, gave them everything. They were audited within 3 weeks. Property freezes, bank accounts locked, assets seized. Federal investigators contacted me, asked for my cooperation. I handed over the journal, the flash drives, the documented timeline, and one fountain pen. Still functional. Still perfect. Your grandfather was very thorough, the lead investigator said. He was a lot of things, but careless wasn't one of them. My family tried to discredit me, launched a campaign. Sloan posted on social media, "Family member having mental health crisis. Please pray for her." Uncle Preston told the press I was unstable and vengeful. Aunt Brenda hired a publicist to spread rumors. Drugs, breakdowns, fabricated stories. But I had facts, documents, video evidence. I said nothing publicly. Let the investigation speak. The press did the rest. Headlines: Billionaire's will forged by family members. Caregiver granddaughter exposes multi-million-dollar fraud. My silence was louder than their lies. The court case moved quickly. Clear evidence, multiple witnesses. The judge ruled in my favor. The original will is valid. All assets shall be transferred to Ivy Callahan as the rightful beneficiary. Uncle Preston had to vacate his home. Sloan lost the estate. Aunt Brenda's accounts were frozen. Everything Grandpa had built came to me. Not because I wanted revenge, because it was his wish, his design. He'd known exactly who they were, and he'd bet everything on me. They tried one last desperate move, produced a forged medical document. Claimed Grandpa was mentally incompetent when he wrote the real will. But I had the video. The court watched it, saw Grandpa's clarity, his sharp mind, his deliberate words. If they ever try to erase you, Ivy, remember, I built this with you in mind. The judge dismissed their claim immediately. This man was clearly of sound mind. This case is closed. Uncle Preston left the courthouse without looking at me. Sloan cried. Not from sadness, from rage. I felt nothing, just tired. A journalist requested an interview. Major publication, national reach. I agreed. Sat across from her in Grandpa's study. Now my study. How does it feel to win? I didn't win. I just stopped them from stealing. Do you forgive them? I thought about it. I don't need to forgive people who never mattered. What will you do with the inheritance? Honor the man who earned it. Build something that lasts. The article went viral. Millions of views. Thousands of comments. But I didn't read them. I had work to do. I sat at Grandpa's desk, the fountain pen in my hand, the journal open before me. On the last page, he'd written, "You were always the only one paying attention, the only one who cared about the story, not just the ending. I'm proud of you, Ivy. Build something beautiful." I created a foundation in his name, funded by the recovered assets, for caregivers, for people who sacrificed everything for family, for the invisible ones who deserved to be seen. I renamed the estate Callahan's Second Draft, because no story has to end the way others write it. The fountain pen sits on my desk now, in a glass case, a reminder that sometimes the smallest gift holds the greatest truth, and that the people who underestimate you are writing their own endings. I just had to read between the lines.